Are we live? 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 Devils survive a tough matchup with the Utah Mammoth. They win 2-1. They nearly gave it away there at the end with that Dawson Mercer dumb penalty at the dumb tripping penalty that he took there at the blue line. But the Devils end up surviving. Wow, what an effort for them tonight. I feel like the story of this game, we can sum it up best by the special teams. Everything that had just was terrible early on came through at opportune times, and that was both special teams units, and that was the goaltender Jacob Markstrom. But I can't talk about any of this until I know that we are live. And Zach Chin tells us that we are live, so thank you everybody for tuning in to us here on Speaking of the Devils. I'm your host, Ryan Novozinsky, joining you, as always, from my home studio right here in lovely downtown Ewing, New Jersey. Before we get into the episode tonight, we're going to just thank our friends over at New Spine for sponsoring us here on Speaking of the Devils with 7 locations. They are New Jersey's leading institute for minimally invasive spine surgery. Live your best life and live it pain-free. Visit newspine.com. That's nu-spine.com today to find a location near you. Gutsy effort for the Devils tonight. Okay, 2-1 win. They're 20-14-1 on the season now. They're 8-10-0 without Jack Hughes in the lineup. They're 12-13-1 since the 8-game win streak earlier this year. Those numbers are improving, guys. Those numbers are improving. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you that much. Usually when we read those stats, it looks like, it's kind of like doom and gloom for the Devils. No. Like the Devils right now are, they're getting healthier and things are improving in that regard. And, once Jack Hughes is back, which is progressing to be sooner than expected here, potentially even before the January, the calendar turns to January, things are on the up and up for them. But let's break down the game notes here, and then we will go into your wonderful comments. I just have to say off the top here, and I just put it on the I just put it in the chat, but the super chats, we're doing a giveaway. If we can get to 5 more super chats, I'm giving away this hat. Okay, I'm giving away this nice Carhartt 47 brand Devils hat. It's great. It's been worn, I think, once by me for like 20 seconds or whatever. Got it as a gift several years ago, but I'm just going to give it away now. We had a winner last time. But our winner never claimed their prize. They never reached out to me. So we're going to give this away if we can get 5 super chats tonight. Again, that's like, you can throw in $1, you can throw in $1, you can throw in $2, whatever the case may be, and you can win this a $40 value for just $2. So make sure you throw in a super chat, and if we meet that goal, we'll go ahead and do that. But my game notes here, I mean, look, it starts with the Daniil Boot scores the power play goal for the Utah Mammoth. I'm still not used to that name yet. Devils, especially, I wrote here my notes. Devils, especially Dougie, don't take a dumb early penalty challenge. Impossible. That seems to be the case lately. They just take all these dumb penalties, and usually it's Dougie Hamilton that winds up in the box. So it's like must be like a distraction thing or whatever the case may be. It's not good. It's not good. So got to get that cleaned up. I pointed out here too early on that it took just 4 shots for Markstrom to give up a goal. It's now, this is 12 of 17 starts for Markstrom where he's given up a goal prior to making 6 saves in a game. Okay, that's terrible. Okay, we'll list it out we'll list it out game by game. He's given up 1. These are the number of saves by game prior to giving up a goal: 1, 2, 0, 12, 11, 4, 0 again, 5, 4. 11, 12, 0 again, 33. That's the one outlier. 2, 8, 4, 4, and tonight was 3. So again, that's number of saves by game prior to giving up a goal. So things weren't trending in a positive direction early on. Like we thought, and he made it a couple nice saves there early on. But I feel like, early on there, you kind of just thought it would be one of those terrible Markstrom nights. It ends up not being that. That ends up not being the case at all, actually. And we will pull up the nerd numbers here as we usually do. Where the hell is that tab? Right here. Did that pull up yet? No, it did not. We're gonna do that right now. Okay. Jacob Markstrom tonight. He stopped. I had to refresh this. I have to. Oh my gosh, it still hasn't updated from the end of the game, but whatever. You guys get the point. 2.82 above expected. That is excellent. That is excellent. I would venture to guess that for Jacob Markstrom, that might be a season high. No, probably the LA game was a season high, but this has got to be up there. Um, I'll tell you what, like that is quite the effort from Markstrom. That's what you need from him for a guy that we, quite frankly, we rip a lot here on this show, and that's just the nature of how his season has been so far. You got to give him credit for that. So credit where credit's due on Markstrom because it was a really strong performance for him. Um, First career goal there for continue on with the notes, just going goal by goal. First career goal for Daniel Boot, and then it looked like a failed clear attempt too, which is no bueno on that penalty kill. And again, this was another this was a power play goal. Devils have been in the last 10 games played, they are dead last. They are dead last in penalty kill percentage. They're 55.6 on the penalty kill, 55.6%. And the second lowest is the Seattle Kraken at 63.3%. So they're low, and there's a pretty significant gap, a gap of like 8, gap of almost 10 there. So that's not great. But we move on because, again, as I mentioned off the top, the penalty kill was terrible early on. Both special teams units were terrible early on until they weren't, until they finally came through. Of note in that first period, though, 5-on-3, another 5-on-3 attempt, and they can't convert. They've had 3 of those in like the last week, and they just haven't been able to cash in. That's pathetic. That is just downright pathetic. Devils power play goals in their last 8 games. They are 2 for 21 on the power play. That is not good. That is not good. But again, opportunistic tonight. They came through at the right time. Moving on, period 2. Let's see. We got there was the soft call on Crookshank. My goodness, that was kind of a joke. I didn't see where any of the roughing was there, so I thought the Devils kind of got shafted there. The power play was lifeless at that point. It was 0 for 5. They ended up being all in all tonight. I think it was 1 for 5 tonight. So again, opportunistic time. But then Connor Brown comes through and he ties the game, gets the equalizer there. First, on the backhand attempt at first, didn't go, but he didn't give up on it. He got an excellent position. And then he ripped one home off the feed from Nico Hischier, who has 2 points now in his last 9 games. That's pretty, you want to see Nico Hischier step it up. You want to see him get a ton more points there, especially in the absence of your biggest star, Jack Hughes. I highlighted him. I want to highlight Jesper Bratt, who just has 3 points in that same span of 9 games as well. The Stars shutting down during this time is unacceptable. They need to, start stepping up as well. But I'm not going to rip him. I just had to note that because that's been the, that's the reality right now is that, you're not getting that you're not getting that from your stars. You need them to kind of step it up more. But, Nico Hischier kind of getting the point there. That kind of just highlighted that for me. Is that, he only has 2 points in his last 9 games. More on the Connor Brown goal. Great release from Brown there. Good hardworking play all around. He kind of had to, I think it was Nico had to win a board battle there in the process. And we talk about stepping up. Connor Brown's got 6 points in his last 6 games. He's a point per game player in his last 6 games. So that's great to see. That's great to see. You talk about depth scoring. You're finally getting it, and you're getting it. We've rightly ripped Tom Fitzgerald a lot over the past couple of weeks. For his, lack of talent identification, I guess. Connor Brown has paid off in a big way. He's been, just the underrated signing of the summer so far. And then I got to give credit where it's due as well. Markstrom, right after that, he easily could have allowed a goal against, as he's done so many times this year, when the Devils start, making up a little bit momentum. But he makes a huge save on Lawson Krause there. So that was nice to see. That was nice to see Markstrom kind of making one of those ice tilting saves that we talk about so much. We talk about so many times. We talk about he needs to make these saves. He needs to make these saves that get the Devils some momentum back. And he finally did that. And he made a bunch of those tonight. Again, we mentioned the nerd numbers. It was 2.82 above expected, and that might even update a little bit. Let's see if it has. Gosh, for some reason, from my vantage point, this hasn't even updated yet. But yeah, I mean, as it stands right now, is 2.82 above expected tonight. Third period happens. Nason gets the power play goal. It looks like the Devils kind of like simplified things on that power play as well. Just kind of a shoot first mentality, whereas, and not trying to overcomplicate things. Whereas the first couple attempts, it was like, just way too passive there. Not nearly getting enough. Just trying to find the perfect opportunity there. But this time it was just shoot first, shoot first. A couple feeds here and there, but that's to be expected on a healthy power play. And then Nason just getting the great net front goal that just had shades of last season, right? That you need more of that from Stefan Nason. But if you're gonna get that kind of production from him, I feel like it's gonna be there. And I feel like he's gonna be a guy that maybe you keep on the first power play, right? You keep on that first power play because I feel like net front wise, he's been one of the better guys at that, and he proved last year that he can be one of the better guys at doing that on the team. Maybe you keep him there even when the team gets fully healthy. Of note as well, I gotta give Sheldon Keefe praise for this. He put Connor Brown in over Palat on that power play. You kept wondering when the change was going to come because for those first few attempts, like Sheldon Keefe didn't do anything to switch things up there. He didn't do anything to switch those up. And the Devils, like at one point they were like 0 for 5 on the power play tonight, So it's like you're wondering when are they going to make a change here on this unit. He kept the same unit despite the early struggles, and then it paid off when he did it. So again, another instance of maybe the power play wasn't, the best. It was, far from the best early on in the game, but it comes through exactly when you need it to. Go ahead goal. Stefan Nason, the guy who needed a goal, he comes through, and the Devils, that ends up being the game winner for them. Devils are also able to clear off, and we'll get to the comments right after this note. They're also able to kill off a dumb penalty by Dawson Mercer with 1:21 to go, which is a pretty unreal, just in terms of bad timing on that one. Just trip of the blue line, just terrible all around from Mercer there. But the Devils end up coming through. They win. Final score 2-1, and they improve to 20-14-1 on the season. And now, guys, before we get to that, before we get to your comments, we just want to remind everybody to be sure if you're a new listener, please like and subscribe. And again, just a little reminder for the little super chat goal. And as we all know, it starts here with our guy Zach Chin. Our guy Zach Chin, who's always leading the way in the super chats department. And Zach, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that, my man. He says what I said before the game: Markstrom legacy game. Obviously, that's a little hyperbolic on my end. This game wasn't going to be the make or break, and that's just as a result of Markstrom being the one that it's up to Markstrom. It's up to Markstrom, right? It's up to Markstrom to sustain this, bottle this success that he had tonight. Again, 2.82 saves above expected tonight, and let's see exactly how many just baseline pucks he stopped tonight. How many shots did Utah have? So he made 32 saves tonight. That's great. Look, that's the kind of performance we've been begging to see from Markstrom all year. It looks like he's stringing together hasn't been the most consistent lately by far. Definitely hasn't been the most consistent lately. But for him to get that, again, not necessarily legacy. It was more sarcasm there for me. But for him to come through tonight in a big spot for the Devils to finally get string a couple wins together as well. Was just had to be so important for his confidence, had to be so important for the team's confidence going forward. So that was nice to see. Let's go through into the comments now. Max Pendenoff, we're going to start with you. Marquee turnaround game, such a solid effort. Need our offensive pop back so badly. Yeah, for sure. We just talked about Markstrom, so I don't need to dive too much into that. But look, this was a good, solid game from him. Decent defensive, a very good defensive game as well. You just need a little bit more of that offensive touch. A lot of that will be cured by Jack Hughes entering back in the lineup, that's for sure. But you just don't want this team to rely on being Jack Hughes merchants too many times. There's no doubt he's your star player. You're going to lean on him, and there's no doubt that you're going to have go on the decline whenever he's out of the lineup. But for the team, for the entire team to be Jack Hughes merchants this whole time, I mentioned the stats earlier. Nico Hischier, he's got 2 points, both of them assists in his past 9 games. Jesper Bratt has 3 points in his last 9 games. That same span. I think Dawson Mercer is another one who's struggled of late too. I don't have the exact numbers up in front of me, but yeah, you need more offensive pop, and you don't want it to just be relied on Jack Hughes. Oh, we got another super chat. Zach Chin, thank you so much again for supporting us in this level again. Zach, if we get to, I mean, you got two in the queue right now. If we meet the goal of 5, and I'm not saying that you have to carry it. The onus is on everybody else in the chat as well. We're giving away this bad boy. It's a nice, again, $40 value hat, brand new, Devils Carhartt 47 brand hat. It's nice. We'll be giving that away if we get 5 super chats tonight. But your question of the day is, what NJD color matchup do you want to see the most? Good question there, Zach. Oh man, because I know that the league is pushing for more of these color matchups. I saw the Rangers and Red Wings did it, a number of games ago. I hate to give the boring answer and just say like, oh, you want to see that red and blue from the Devils and the Rangers there. But that would just be so nice, wouldn't it? Like that would just scream rivalry. I would love that if the Devils were able to get a matchup like that going with the Rangers. Another underrated one, maybe Devil Stars, little green, little red on Christmas. Obviously, they don't do Christmas games in the NHL. Around the holidays in December sometime, get that going. Get that going. Those are 2 ones that I want to see. I hope that I'm answering your question the right way. I imagine that's what you mean by color matchups in the game. Let's move on. Oh, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Where the hell are we? Okay, Luke FYB, not a coincidence that the second Palat switched off with Brown on the PP. They scored. Coaching malpractice, having both Nason and Palat on the 5-on-3. You know what, too? It's funny you mentioned that. I was thinking too. It's weird not having Hamilton on there. I know he hasn't had the best season. I know that he hasn't necessarily had the production that you want to see from him, and maybe that a lot of that is just him being distracted right now by being in trade rumors and endless trade rumors. But let's face it, like I feel like he should be on that 5-on-3 as well, and he should probably be quarterback at the power play too. I like Luke. I think Luke's going to be fine. In a number of years. I think he's going to be a star player at some point. I don't think he's a good power play quarterback right now. That's just my take on it. Oh my gosh, we have 2 new super chats coming. Oh my gosh, we met the goal. Oh no, we didn't meet the goal yet. Oh my gosh. Oh wow, I just got it way ahead of myself. We still won off of the goal. So if we get one more, I'm giving away this sucker because again, our last guy who won this did not claim the prize. But Luke, just to put a bow on your comment as well, yeah, there's no doubt that the adjustment from moving off of Palat to Brown was so great. And look, like I feel like Brown, he's had enough offensive pop this year that it's like, I don't know, like you'll take that. Like you why not roll the dice with them on the power play? And that's what they did, and it ends up being great. Bokers, thank you so much for supporting us in this level, Bokers. 6 minutes left to get a 3C fits. Yes, the roster freeze is coming in 3 minutes here. We are on roster freeze watch. Let me check my text messages. Hold on if the stream cuts out for just a second. Bear with me. Did something happen? Was there a trade across the league? Oh my gosh, the Blue Jackets got Mason Marchment. Wow. Man, so all these other GMs are working right now. Fitzgerald might not get it done in the next couple of minutes. That's not good. Look, like all these other GMs working right now. I don't necessarily know that you needed Mason Marchment, but oh my gosh, like you want to get some sort of deal done. Get us an emergency pod situation. I'd love to do an emergency pod situation right now, but evidently, yeah, that the return there on the Mason Marchment deal, I just had it up here, is Kraken trade Kraken trade Marchment to the Columbus Blue Jackets in exchange for a 2027 second round pick and a 2026 fourth round pick. It seems to be these second round picks seem to be like quite the going rate right now. Fitzgerald, you got a ton of them. Just throw them out. Who cares at this point? I understand there's a lot of prospect lovers out there. You can give up a second round pick if it means getting you depth. And I understand right now that the issue probably isn't it's probably not exactly the giving up the assets. It's the clearing space. So Fitzgerald, come on, clear some space up here. So there's a lot of tough decisions to be had with this Devils team. I mean, it's not even tough decisions. It's like tough management of what you do. Moving on to the next super chat, and thank you again, Bokers, for supporting us at that level. Crosa 1, thank you so much. $10. Amazing, Crosa. Thank you so much. Again, I'm going to put all of you people in a little wheel, and then we're going to get the wheel going next time. We're going to spin the wheel, and we'll get you guys we'll get you guys equal opportunity to win this hat. Although I will say, my man Zach Chin, because he sent 3 super chats tonight, he gets more. So a super chat is, if you send a super chat, you get more opportunities to win said hats. So the more super chats we get, the more times you get put in the raffle for this hat. And I'll get it to you guys somehow, be it mail or be it via, I'll get it to a game or something like that. But Crosa said, Novo, happy holidays. Truly appreciate your coverage. Thank you so much there, Crosa. I appreciate you guys for always tuning in. Thank you so much for that. You guys are awesome. I mean, I'm having a ton of fun doing this year. Zach Chin, another super chat says, Allen on Sunday. That's the question right now. I feel like they've been kind of alternating right now. I feel like you probably do go Allen. I thought Allen should have started tonight. Evidently, I was wrong. I talked about this on the Deplorable Slip and Jimmy's podcast, Dell's Rink Report, earlier. Basically, I said, look, the fact of the matter is, like Jake Allen can't make that many starts in a row. I know people have the tendency to want to ride the hot hand, and I would agree with that, right? But he's older. He's got kind of like this. He sweats more than other goalies. Remember when we saw earlier this year when he went out with cramps in that game? That's no mistake that he went out with cramps. That wasn't just like a one-off thing. That's like something that I feel that when talking to him, sounds like it happens quite a bit. And talking to Sheldon Keefe about it too. This is something he's dealt with a lot in his career. So you're just not going to see him, especially at the age of, I think it was 35 or 36. He's not going to get exactly the number of reps that you want to see him get. Anyways, to answer your question, I think they probably will go Allen on Sunday, just because they'd be getting a healthy rotation of these two goalies right now. So yeah. We got another one from the Insane Pollock. Thank you so much, Insane Pollock, or the Insane Pollock? Pollock, whatever. 7225 says, opinions on Biz creating drama with the Hughes bros. Did I miss something? I saw his comments the other day about potentially Jack joining Quinn in Minnesota. Again, like every credible reporter in Minnesota is, saying right now that is potential. Like there's potential for him to sign long term in Minnesota. I would say that if I were a betting man, I would bet on Quinn Hughes to come to New Jersey. That's just me. That's but as far as like Biz creating drama with the Hughes bros, I think that a lot of that just might be a little embellished for the show, maybe a little embellished for the show, and that's it's a great show. It's a great show. So I'll say that like they are certainly entertaining. They're certainly entertaining, but I think Biz is just trying to maybe stir the pot there a little bit. Although maybe there is a chance that Quinn Hughes, like, you never know. What if they rip off a cup this year and a cup the next year? What if Quinn Hughes is like, oh man, I'm signing long term here because they're just so good. Like, we're just such a good unit. They haven't lost since Quinn Hughes came in the lineup. So what if they keep winning? Maybe he's convinced to stay there in the Great White North of Minnesota. I don't know, but I think it would just take, and I think even like their contract numbers when they were talking about like the Hughes bros were off in that. Um, so take that for what it's worth. Moving on, Zach Chin. Oh my gosh, Zach, you are the man. Would give more if I wasn't a broke law student. Well, Zach, amazing. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you, my man. Thank you so much for supporting our channel on that level. Where is the last comment that I left off on before I started taking a bunch of these super chats, which I appreciate? Dire Wolf says big bounce for Markey. They look like such a different team with Pesci back. They sure do. I mean, the structure's back, right? Bradshaw's had an interesting like up and down season, and right now I would say it's kind of on the down, just because like the nature of the penalty kill right now. Again, the Devils have the worst penalty kill percentage over the last 10 games in the NHL. It's not even close. They have a 55.6% penalty kill percentage, and the second lowest is the Seattle Kraken at 63.3. So that's not good. But anyways, what I'm trying to say here is the the fluctuation of Bradshaw this season has been like, it's been up, it's been down, it's been down right now. But I feel like with Brett Pesci back in the lineup, you're going to start seeing that trend upward a little bit, right? Because the team just looks a lot more defensively structured with him in the lineup. So things are, I think things are going to be on the up and up there. Mikey Mike says, I know we are so injured, but I do think there is some blame for the coaches. Every time we're in the D zone, there's no puck pressure. They cycle freely. It's like a PK the second we concede the zone. Yeah, no arguments for me there. I mean, again, I just mentioned the coaching and everything like that. And it's some of the decisions as well. Like I know this isn't exactly like D zone structure, obviously, but like I talked about at the top, like for the first like 5 power plays, Keith didn't make any adjustments. He just kept rolling the same units out. It was like definition of insanity, right? Like thinking that doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same result. Well, you kept getting the same result. Thankfully, he finally made the changes. So there, the coaches are not absolved completely of this, but I do think more often than not, Sheldon Keefe has proven to be a better adjuster than with the roster that he's been given right now, which is injured, and it's also, even if not injured, there's a lot of holes in it. So I give Keefe a lot of benefits of the doubt, but I think the assistants need to be better. And we're seeing that right now with the warts on the special teams units. Mikey Mike again says, on the other hand, huge win for Markey. Yeah, let's hope that Jacob Markstrom can parlay this into just a crazy, insane stretch of games here, because yeah, like it hasn't been a great season for him. So let's see what he can do there. Hold on, I just lost my place in the freaking comments. Rick Roma says, any word on Timo? No word on Timo, guys. It's one of those things that the Devils have given him permission to take as long as he needs. I don't know for a fact. I don't know if it's been asked or not, but I would assume, based on just the fact that I don't think he has any family here, that he would be back in Switzerland. And again, I don't even know the exact details, and not that the exact details need to be out there. I mean, it's a personal family issue for Timo, and we wish the best for him. But no update on him of late. That's going to be a true like wait and see, and he could come back tomorrow. He could come back in 2 weeks from now, and you just got to give it to him, because family over everything for sure. Vic says, I hope Markey is back. He has been so good. I knew he will get better and better. So happy with the win, as you should be, Vic, as you well should be. This was an awesome performance from Markstrom tonight. Probably the best one we've seen since that early LA game, the day after Halloween, the day after he signs that extension. That's like the only time you've seen like Markstrom like steal a game this year. Maybe there was a handful of other times, but I read the stats at the top. You can go back and listen to him. It has not been pretty for Jacob Markstrom this year. Let's see if this can be the game where he latches onto it and really starts to grab some momentum. MW, 2 games very much the same old school Devils, low score win. Yes. Yeah, look, this was a gutted out kind of performance for the Devils over the last 2 games. And then you're going to get Jack Hughes back soon. I mean, maybe that starts just tipping the scales. Maybe the Devils learned, maybe this run without Jack Hughes, the stretch without Jack Hughes and Brett Pesce will end up being a good thing for the Devils because it's like your depth scorers learned to fill their role and learn how to score during this absence, right? Like it hasn't been great. It hasn't, they haven't been scoring in droves necessarily. But you're finally starting to see that, right? You get goals from Nason tonight. You get goals from Connor Brown tonight. That's great. The defense looks a lot more structured when Brett Pesce's back in the lineup. You add Jack Hughes to the mix there, and you could start getting some of these stars to hopefully start performing as well. I think that you'll be golden. I think the team can go on a hot run again. The things are looking up. If the goaltending is fixed now too, like I'm not going to overreact to one game because I'm not going to I just think the sample size has been too much of the negative this year for Jacob Markstrom. But if he can parlay this into a hot run here, watch out for the Devils. That is winning streak central for them. D. Hurwitz Esquire says Allen's best game followed by Markey, which goes to show how much Pesce helps. Yeah, for sure. And we've talked again. This is another thing I've talked about in the show so much this year. The synergy with the goalies this year, they've been kind of so out of sync. Like when one is bad, the other one's good. When one is good, the other one's bad. You get two straight hot, scorching hot starts from both of your goaltenders. That's great. That's great. You finally got it done this year. You finally have at least a semblance of goaltender synergy. How I got here, Jeremy Proper. Gutsiest win of the season. Need that Markey going forward. Yes, you certainly do need that Markstrom going forward. That is for sure. I haven't checked to see. Did the Devils make a move? No. No, they did not. But there's a whopper of a Sheldon Keefe quote. He says, Keefe says he thinks, this is from Slip and Jimmy Nichols. Hold on, I'm going to share this tab. One moment. This is some Keefe quote. Okay. Keefe says he thinks the NJ Devils will get some bodies back at home on Sunday. What does that mean? What does that mean? Is that Jack? Is that Timo? Is that Gritsuk? I think the one that we're all focusing in on right now is that Jack. That would be awesome. Jack Hughes returns at home before the holiday break and everything like that. I think that would be very cool. That's does it against the Lindy Ruff Sabres. That would be amazing. Let's see if that ends up happening. Max Petinoff, Islanders lost in regulation and Canes blow a 3-goal lead late and lose in shootout. I think I saw somewhere else that the Devils are maybe third in the Metro now. I mean, I know that things are tight in the standings right now, so we'll see. Let me see right now. 20, 14, and 1. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to say. Okay, I guess it hasn't updated yet. No, the Devils are still a little bit outside of the playoff picture, but I mean, being outside the playoff picture is like the difference of like 1 point at this point. Hold on, I'm just looking at the comments right here. I think Keefe said before New Year, but doctor's appointment next week. Prob Grits and maybe Timo. That's what Boker said. I'll tell you what, guys. I don't want to call someone out for lying, and I'm not implying that. I think the Devils are just being safe. I think the Devils are being safe to the point where they might not necessarily be telling the full truth about the extent of Jack's injury. Every report that's come out, in recent days has been Jack is going to return sooner than expected. I've heard from a number of sources myself that Jack is going to return sooner than expected. I wouldn't be surprised if Jack was the one that would be returning on Sunday. I would think it would be more likely that it would be one of the other guys, that would be returning. But it would be very cool if it was Jack. And it's not out of the realm of possibility, I don't think. Vic says, are we winning because Pesce is back and that makes everything better? What do you think? Greetings from Argentina as always. Thank you, Vic, for listening to us from Argentina. That's really cool. Pesce does make everything better in the back end there, so there's little doubt about that. There's no doubt that there's some correlation there, and some causation there. But you know what it is too, and I'll tell you what, his record with him in the lineup too is 10-1 now. That's crazy. So maybe that is maybe that is the root cause of the Devils turning it around, and you see the goalie's numbers are better as well whenever he's back there on the blue line. How I got here, Jeremy Proper. Panthers are even better than us injured. Am I missing something? And then Max Petinoff says Devils also leapfrog into Metro number 3 spot. I just checked that. I don't know. Maybe my standings didn't update on my end, so we'll see. How he got here, Jeremy Proper. Saves above expected tonight. Yes, Jeremy. I mentioned that a little bit earlier. It was 2.82 last I checked, but I'm going to check one more time because sometimes these things update a little later on. Okay, so yeah, it ends up being 2.55. You'll take that from Jacob Markstrom any day of the freaking week for sure. That was great. Awesome game from him tonight. Guys, that's gonna do it. I'm gonna wrap this stream up for now. Thank you all to everybody for tuning in to us here on Speaking of the Devils. Appreciate all your support. Appreciate all your super chats. Once again, next time we're gonna do, and again, if you super chatted tonight, you entered and you got another raffle ticket because our last guy did not claim his prize. I'm gonna do another spin the wheel before next game, before next stream. I'm going to be doing it on the stream, so that'll be like the early on, like before I get into like the intro and everything like that, before I get into the notes. I'm going to do a spin a wheel, and we'll see who wins the hat. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day. I'll talk to you on Sunday. Bye-bye.